Problem is to write a Python program to find Armstrong number in an interval. Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to WsCube Tech. My name is Ayushi Jain and in this video we will learn how to write a program in Python that will allow us to check how many Armstrong number are there in a particular interval. To check this, first of all, a person should know what is an Armstrong number. Then we will be creating a program that will allow us to check the Armstrong's number inside a particular interval. So let's have a look. So first of all, if I talk about Armstrong number, then Armstrong number is the one. For example, if I have written 371. Okay, now what will I do if I'll write the sum of these three numbers with the power of the length of these three numbers. For example, 3 cube plus 7 cube plus 1 cube. Why cube? Because the length of this whole number is 3 over here. So we'll be putting the cube over there. So 3 raised to the power 3 is 27. Plus 7 raised to the power 3 is 343 plus 1 raised to the power 3 is 1. And if I get the sum over here, then it would give me 371, which is exactly the same number we checked it for. And at the same time, if I check for any other number, for example, if I take 56, so 56 has here two numbers. So that means the length is 2, 5 raised to the power 2 plus 6 raised to the power 2. So 5 raised to the power 2 is 25 plus 6 raised to the power 2 is 36. And if we do the addition over here, it will give us the output 61. That means this is not an Armstrong number. So this is how we check for an Armstrong number. Now that we know what is an Armstrong number, we have to check it inside the interval. So to check it inside the interval, we need a limit over here. So we need a lower limit and an upper limit. That means two variables will be required which will check our upper limit and the lower limit over here. Now, lower limit says, let's say we have a number 0 and the upper limit says, let's say we have a number 1000, that we need to find all the Armstrong numbers which are there inside the limit of 0 to 1000. Okay, so what we will be doing, we will be taking this thing as a range over here. We can clearly see we have to find all the numbers, Armstrong number inside this range. That means what we will be doing, we will be iterating inside the for loop that for number, or we can write for I in range. Our range would be the lower limit and the upper limit. The lower limit is 0 and the upper limit is 1000 over here. So 1000 plus 1 would be used because if I write 1000 then it will only check up to 999, right? So what we will be writing, 1000 plus 1. That means upper limit plus 1 over here. Okay. After this, what we need to do, we need to check for every number. For example, if I'm going to check for number 1 over here. For number 1, the order would also be 1. But at the same time, we have a range till 1000. So what if the number is 30? In this case, the order will change, right? So every time we cannot put a specific order over here. For that, to change the order over here, we will be writing a variable called as order. And what will be the order? The order will be the length of this number. But we cannot find the length of a number. For length, we need to use a string over here. For that, what we will be doing, we will be converting this number, whatever our number is, that means our I is, we'll be converting this into a string and then we will find its length over here. So first this number will be converted into a string, then we will find its length. After this we will be needing two more variables, that will be the sum, because at the end the Armstrong number is a sum. So it's a sum of the two numbers. For example, in this case it will be the sum of these two numbers raised to the power of these numbers. So that means 3 raised to the power 2 and 0 raised to the power 2. Right, so it will be a sum, so sum will initially be equal to 0. Next thing that we need over here is our temporary variable, where we can store the value of this number over here so that we can manipulate it. So we'll be using one temporary variable as well. So temporary is equals to I. Okay, now what do we need to do? We need to use a while loop. What this while loop will say, that while whatever our number is stored inside the temporary variable, while temporary variable is greater than 0, while whatever our number is, let's say our number is 30, right? So while 30 is greater than 0, till then we will be iterating. Now what we will be iterating over here, we will be checking for this number if this number is an Armstrong number or not. How to check if a number is an Armstrong number or not? We need to take its square and add it inside the sum. So how to find its square? We cannot take the square of both the numbers at one time. We need to obtain one number at a time. To obtain one number at a time, if I'll do this thing, that if I'll divide 30 by 10, so what will I get? If I write 30 over here, I will get the 0. That means I'll get the remainder as 0. Suppose if this number would have been 31. In the case of 31, what would have happened? 10. 3 times is 30 and the remainder is 1. So what I'm getting the last number every time over here. So how to obtain the last digit? For that we will be writing digit is equals to whatever our number is. The number is inside the temporary variable. Temporary divided by 10 over here. So temporary when divided by 10, whatever remainder we get over here, that will be the digit. This digit will be added inside the sum with the order of it. So we will be writing sum plus is equals to that to the sum. Every time the value will be added to sum, plus is equals to what? This digit, whatever our digit is. Suppose if it is 1, so 1 raised to the power order. This will be our sum. Okay. After writing down the sum, what do we need to do? We need to eliminate this digit over here, because let's say if we have 31, right? So once we have used this one over here, we need to eliminate it. To eliminate it, if I'll do the floor division over here. So if I write 31, when divided by 10, what will be the floor division? So 10 3 times is 30 and the remainder is 1. So quotient, that means floor division over here. This quotient will be our number. Suppose if I would have taken any other number, let's say 435. I would have divided this by 10 over here. So the quotient would be 10 4 times is 40. 35, 10 3 times is 30 and the remainder is 5. So in this case we will obtain 43, that means the remaining two numbers. So what do we need to do? We need to find the remaining number. So that is the remaining number is 3 over here, and eliminate the last number. To eliminate the last number, what we will be doing, inside our temporary variable we will be making these changes. So temporary variable is equals to temporary variable floor division with 10, and this is how we will obtain this 3 number. With the 3, again this loop will iterate. We will divide it by 10 to obtain the remainder, that will be 3. 3 raised to the power 2 will be added to the sum, and again this 3 will be eliminated and the loop will stop, because the loop says that while temporary is greater than 0. That's why the loop will stop over here. As soon as the loop will stop over here, what do we need to print? We need to print that if number is equals to sum, whatever our number is, so that means whatever our I is, that is equal to sum. In that case we have to print I. So we need to put a condition over here that if I is equals to sum, in that condition print I. So this is how we will be obtaining a number, an Armstrong number, inside a particular interval. Now let's do one thing. Let's put all this inside the code, because right now I think it looks a lot messier if you look at it in this way. So it looks a very much messier. But let's put it inside a program, and then it would make it very much easy for you to understand that what we have basically done over here. So first of all, as I said, we need two limits over here, that is the lower limit and the upper limit. So for the lower, I'll be writing the lower limit as is equals to int input. Enter the lower limit here. Similarly, I'll be writing the upper limit as upper is equals to int input. Enter the upper limit here. Once we have entered the lower limit and the upper limit, what do we need to do next is we need to iterate inside the for loop, that for I in range, or we can take for number in range. Now range would be lower, comma, upper plus 1. Inside this range we need to also find the order of the number. So order is equals to length. Length function can only be applied on a string. That's why we'll be putting a string, and inside that we'll be passing the number, that whatever is our first number. Also we'll write the sum. Sum will be initially equal to 0, and we will be needing one temporary variable in which we will store the value of the number. Next we need to iterate inside the while loop. So while number, or while we can write temporary is greater than 0, in that condition what do we need to do? We need to first find the digit. We need to obtain the last digit over here. So digit is equals to temporary variable when divided by 10, whatever remainder we get. So this is how we will obtain the last digit. That last digit will be added to our sum with its power. So sum is equals to digit raised to the power order. And from the temporary variable, we will remove this last digit that has been added to the sum. So we will be doing this thing, that we will be also writing plus is equals to, that to the sum we will be, plus is equals to means that to the sum we will be adding the new value. That means whatever our previous sum is, to that we will be adding the new value. Suppose our previous value is 5, previous sum is 5, and the new sum is 10. So in that case, what we will be doing, we will be adding this 10 to our 5, and it will become 15 over here. So to the previous sum, we will be adding the new sum, plus we will be eliminating the last digit. So to eliminate last digit, what do we need to do? We need to write temporary variable temporary is equals to temporary float division with 10. And this is how we will obtain the last digit over here. So once we have came out of the loop, what do we need to do? We need to write a conditional statement that if our number matches with the sum, that whatever our number is, if it matches with the sum, in that case we need to print that number. That means all the numbers that will match with our sum will get printed inside the interval that we have provided over here. So if I run this program, if I click on run and write, let's say the lower limit is 1000 and the upper limit is, let's say, 2000. So we'll get the output, only one output is there, that is only one Armstrong number exists, that is 1634. Let's check for 163 and 4 that if it is true or not. So we have a number 1, 6, 3 and 4. So 1 raised to the power 4, because there are 4 digits over here. Multiply by 6 raised to the power 4. Multiply by 3 raised to the power 4. Multiply by 4 raised to the power 4. So we know that 1 raised to the power 4 is 1. So 6 raised to the power 4 is 1296. Multiply by 3 raised to the power 4. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3 is 81. And 4 raised to the power 4 means 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. And 64 times 4 is 256. So 256. And lastly, we'll do the addition over here. After doing the addition, we will obtain over here that the number is 6 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1 would be 14. 9 plus 8 plus 23 and 2 goes carry over here. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6 and lastly 1. So 1634 is the output. That means our 1634 is an Armstrong number and it's the only Armstrong number that we have in the range of 1000 to 2000. Similarly, if I run the program again and if I write the value 100 and 1000, so between 100 and 1000 we will find multiple of Armstrong number. So we have 153, 370, 371 and 407 over here. So I hope guys that this program is clear over here, that how we have taken the lower and upper limit, how we have iterated inside the range of lower and upper limit, how we have taken an order over here. For the order we have to first convert it into a string, then we need to find its length. Two variables sum and temporary are required over here, and then we will be iterating inside the while loop, that we will be checking if the temporary is greater than 0. Till the time the temporary is greater than 0, whatever our temporary number is, it is greater than 0. In that condition we need to obtain the last digit. Whatever digit we obtain, we have to put its order and then we have to add it to the sum. Lastly, from our temporary variable we have to eliminate the last digit and we have to give a condition that if our number matches with the sum, in that condition we have to print that number. So I hope guys this program is clear to you and you have no doubts and no questions, and for more such interesting programs, stay connected guys. Thank you.